There you go.
Hello, welcome to Fandom 101. How's everyone enjoying CassieCon so far?
Loving it.
It's been great.
All right. So, I am Brianna. I know most of you guys realize this already, but in case we have any newbies in here, I'm Brianna. I started reading sorry, there was a bug. Lovely. I started reading the Karen Chance books back in like 2006, 2007, and nobody else seemed to ever know what I was reading. Like, I never found anybody else who had read the books. There was a couple, I posted about it on Tumblr a few times. There's a couple of people who interacted, and I say like one or two people who occasionally like liked it throughout the years. And then in 2017, apparently the fandom came to Tumblr, and we ended up within a year we had a CassieCon plan, and we had a good group of friends and discords, and it was awesome. So yeah, I know a little bit about fandom. I've been in several fandoms since 2001, so like I've seen a lot of different platforms. So before we get started, does anyone have like want to share their experience with fandoms or any questions that they might have? Make sure I get any all make sure I'm most helpful in this panel.
I started in fandom in 99 or 2000 when the new Star Wars movies came out. And then I found message boards, and it's just been since then. And I found go ahead.
I'm looking up my oldest fanfic so I can tell you what year I started. Okay, 2010, and it was Vampire Diaries.
Yes.
I still love Vampire Diaries.
Yes. I was in the Vampire Diaries fandom. That was very hard. That was very cutthroat.
Those girls are mean.
Very toxic. Like everyone throwing around the word toxic. No one understood what it meant. Hello. Hi. Mommy. Hang on one second.
I have a lawnmower going over here, so I keep muting myself so you don't have to listen to it.
Okay. So yeah, fandom. It's what does being in the fandom mean to you? Like, can you be a fan without being in the fandom?
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
For sure.
Under your bed.
I think when you're in it. Sorry, Sonia.
The Cassie fandom was my first fandom experience in 2017, I think I joined. And since then I went to the MCU fandom a bit, and lately to the Supernatural family. And I can say that the Cassie fandom and the Supernatural fandom are very friendly, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So what I usually say is a fandom is where you seek out more ways to engage with the content.
Grab a water while you do that.
I'm trying to remember my first fandom, and I think it was Buffy the Vampire Slayer in like 2002. It was towards the end of the series. Obviously, as the series ended, I say my first fandom was Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I adore
and
Buffy.
as the series was ending, obviously it was like, what am I going to do now? There's nothing. And there was only one more year of Angel, which was something I was also a big fan of. So that's how I found fandom, because I was writing fics. So my first ever fic was a Spike themed fanfic after the end of Angel, sort of in the future. That's how I started out in it. There's lots of things I love that I'm not in the fandom of. I wouldn't ever consider being,
Mm-hmm.
particularly a lot of sci-fi.
So yeah, it's because I know people who love stuff and they'll buy the media, you know, they'll consume it, they'll buy, you know, they'll wear merchandise with it, but they won't actively seek out other ways to engage with it. So that's kind of how I define fandom, you know, fan fiction, fan art, Wikipedia's for messenger boards, stuff like that. A lot of people, and I forget the word for it because today's, you know, Miss Frazzle. But there's two ways of being in the fandom. There's transformative fandom, which is people who do they do metas, they do fan works, they create for the fandom. And then there's informative. So they are the people who do transcripting. They do Wikipedias for the fandom. You know, they do screen caps and videos, compilations, so that you can watch it. And it's more sticking to canon. It's just how they present it. They present it as informative, or they present it in another light. So those are the two ways of engaging with fandom usually. So we've mentioned a lot of places. Where do you guys seek out fandom? Like, where would you go first if you fell headfirst into a new thing you wanted to learn more about?
Google. I would Google it. That's what I do. I'm like, okay, what is there more about? Is this show based on comics or books that I can find? So I just start looking for additional media. And honestly, I kind of get stuff backwards. I see it on social media first, and then I seek it out because it looks interesting. So I've usually found where it is first, because that's how, I don't know what's good or what's not. I'm not one to just like, oh, there's a new show. Other people have to tell me. Let you guys figure it out first.
Step one for me has always kind of been not even looking it up first, has been like rewatching and just like, I'm not ready for other people yet. I just want to like have my own intimate like rewatching and I'm kind of that way with Enola Holmes right now. I'm like, I'm ready to watch it for like the third time before I'm ready to maybe read fanfics about it, before I need something new maybe.
I have no idea. I can't remember how I got into the first fandom. I have no idea how I did it in 2002. Probably by accident. I tend to fall into things by accident. I was desperate for something for Cassie for years. I would like, and the only place I could find anything was Goodreads, and then there was like 6 threads, and they were all rubbish. And I was like, "Oh, these people seem awful. I want nothing to do with them." And I stumbled upon Tumblr, and there was some stuff in Tumblr, and that's how I slowly started to find people. But actually, I think I found Tumblr because Karen advertised something on her Facebook page, didn't she?
Yeah,
I think so.
That for talking to you guys anyway. There was something that you'd set up on. Was it a group or something that had been set up, possibly for the con? I can't remember. But
Might
that's
have
how.
been the first. What was it? That first group Tumblr that everyone ran, whatever that.
I think there wasn't. It was just it could have been the thing called that was that she kind of said, "We'll go here." So
Was it that first reread before Ride the Storm?
That might have been it.
That's when I came in.
Yes, it was definitely a reread. Thinking about it, yes, it was.
It was that one then, because I looked at Tumblr. I'm like, I don't even know where to start, so I just walked away. And eventually, I came back. Obviously,
I was already on it, but I didn't really use it. I'd signed up for pictures of Tom Hiddleston, and then it's a great place for pictures of Tom Hiddleston. By the way, it just Tumblr is Tom Wilson's second home, I think. And at the time, it was peak Tom. It was 2016 Tom, which was peak. He was beautiful in 2016.
He's still not
So, yeah.
bad, but you're right.
He's not bad now, but yeah.
So when I started mainly I realized my process is usually I find something, I search out fan fiction, and from there I find a couple of authors I like, and then after I read a couple and get that out of my system, I find it on Tumblr, I Google other places, and I go to watch it on YouTube. Like those are where I go mainly to find it. Before Tumblr, it was usually LiveJournal, and people had more of the different websites. Like they had, God, what was it? Google GeoCities. No, Yahoo GeoCities had a bunch of their own little fandom websites. And it was amazing. And they're all gone now. Rest in peace. But and fanfiction.net, that's where I started and learned a lot back then. So
Good or bad?
huh?
Good or learned a lot of good or a lot of bad?
Yes. Like I remember fanfiction.net before they added in searching by characters. Back when it was NC-17 instead of M.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
And when they didn't have like certain splits, so like you couldn't do crossovers, like you couldn't do crossover categories and stuff like that way back when. And the review used to be at the very bottom of the page instead of like open up in a new panel. So it was very interesting. And I stuck with it for a very long time. So often fandom creates its own culture and its own lingo. Is there any lingo or tropes or anything that you do not understand that you want to ask about now? Feel free to type it if you don't want to pronounce it. Or message me privately if you don't want to know that it's from you. No judgment. This is a safe spot.
I'm muted because my dad is running around, that's all.
Yeah.
I do not understand the appeal of the coffee shop trope. And you know me and coffee, but I don't get it. I don't know why it's interesting.
It's so not interesting is what tickles me. It's like so bland that it's almost calming. It's like the stakes are fairly low.
It's a palate
That's
cleanser.
the perfect question, because that is what makes the appeal of being in fandom, because media does not focus on slice of life. The daily coffee shop trope is all about that little slice of life that can change your world. It's about comfort reading, about comfort art, indulging yourself, and the fact that daily rituals and routines can be life-changing even in the little bit of time that they have. And it's universal in a way that a lot of media never portrays. So I think that's why people keep coming back to it.
I never really considered it like that.
FF.net used to be pretty much flawless. AO3 sometimes has a little bit, archive of our own is a bit, they're both good and bad in certain things. FF.net, the interface is kind of outdated and hard to read a lot.
And the ads got way worse.
The ads got so worse, especially on mobile. It became almost and for me, it was the back end that made me end up stop using it, because I kept trying to upload a new chapter and it wouldn't work constantly, and they wouldn't let me reformat it. They wouldn't format it correctly, and I tried all sorts of different ways. So it was that back end that made me stop. But I still go back and I read, and I have so many favorites saved from 2000 and 2001 even. Like, yeah, I'll never stop and reading and visiting it, but it's definitely, I would archive just anything you love on it. And I don't think it's ever going to go away. I still think it's going to be one of the behemoths of people starting off. Anything else?
AL3 has a lot better rating system too. Like, you can just write what you want and you don't really have to worry about all that. And it's like people can, like, I feel like they can, what is the word? Red flag your story so much easier on fan fiction, and it can get like, wait.
Fan fiction is a lot more limited. Like, FF.net is a lot more limited in what you can do. And like, it used to be NC-17, and then they're like, we're not allowing any of this stuff. And so it spawned adult FF.net, which was a whole other thing. And then they're like, okay, we'll allow certain depictions. So we'll change it to an M category, but only certain depictions are allowed. And you're not allowed to do this, this, or this. Whereas AO3 is will allow any formats, any, you can do meta posts on there. You can do art posts. You can do lists. You can do essays, anything fandom related, music. And they have the trigger warnings, which I think is a really good thing. I didn't understand them for the longest time, but now I understand that a little bit better. And I think that's a good way to engage the culture also. Formatting is still kind of a pain, but I think any site is going to have some issues with formatting. But once you understand it, it's easier. Let's see.
I really wish I could bookmark where I am in a story so it doesn't start me at chapter flipping 1 every time.
Yes.
What chapter was I on? It's been a little bit. That's my only gripe.
Yes, that does suck. That might, I wonder if they've even thought about that. I know they have a Twitter that you can do suggestions for. So that might be interesting.
Yeah, like a little mark, this is where I stopped. Or even if it would just bring me to the last chapter I was on.
Or tell you what chapter you visited on your history.
Yeah.
Or something. That would be cool.
So helpful. Okay.
So the transformative fandom, I think a lot of reason that people end up falling into fandom is because it gives them a perspective and representation that they never get from the actual media. And I think that's also a huge reason that transformative, yet a lot of people are either transformative fandom or administrative fandom, the two types. They're not usually both. And super engaged in both. They usually go one way or the other.
Doesn't it largely fall along gender lines as well? Women are considerably more likely to be transformative fans, which is where gatekeeping comes in.
Yep. Unfortunately, it does. It's almost like the baseball cards mentality versus, the art mentality or whatever. There are exceptions, and it also comes into what media is actually portraying, what the medium is actually portraying, because things like Star Trek, for example, most of the transformative fandom was very much women focused because women did not have good representation, but they still saw what they liked. Like they liked what they saw, where the men, they got their representation. So now they were focused on making sure to document it and be able to reflect themselves in it. So
Never thought about it like that.
and I don't know how it is now, because I was really engaged in fandom for a while, and then I was less engaged in for 4 or 5 years, and fandom can change in 6 months. So, but it used to be even the type of fandom you created. I know there's a lot more male fan artists than there are male fan writers, and which one is usually seen as more positive. And even within those types of medium, it used there was one fandom where if you were writing for it and you were a male, you were writing action genre, and romance would be scorned. Whereas if you were writing angst or romance or any drama, it was usually and especially One Pieces, then they would be female and they would be lesser. And obviously there are exceptions, but
I started with Star Wars. Oh, I'm so sorry about this stupid thing. I started with Star Wars, and the fanfickers were almost, as a rule, all female. There's a few. Costumes was more female oriented, but we still had our fair share of guys, and the artists were dudes, especially the Photoshop guys. Were male. And there was some crossover, but by and large, and the fan film people were almost all men, because they were just recreating a missing piece of the story. They were almost all guys running it. I mean, they'd have female actors, but the guys were the center of it. I never really thought about that, except anytime I see fanfic, I assume a woman has written it. That's my assumption. Full stop. But yeah, it's funny how it falls that way.
Seems to be, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Bat in the Sun, but they're this group of fans who also produce, not official content, but they'll have battles. I think one of them was, I want to say Darth Vader versus a Power Ranger or something. So their videos are pretty cool, and they look pretty cool actually. And I think they had one, Flora Croft versus Nathan Drake, I think is his name. So they're pretty good, but they're all males making and producing, except for the sexy actresses that they get to act in them.
it's so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't really think about that, but yeah, it really.
But yes, so any other lingos, terms, obsessions?
I tend to Google them if I don't understand them, because there's a lot I don't get. But everything now I've Googled, we're good.
What about platforms that you guys just don't understand?
Twitter.
Or don't see the appeal of?
Twitter.
Twitter is just yelling into the void, but it's gained popularity since Tumblr got bought out by Yahoo somehow, because Yahoo is still around, and they went on a crusade against porn bots and ended up running off all the artists who went to Twitter, because Twitter has less oversight, which is good and bad. But you can find a lot of fan art now on Twitter.
I think you can see it on Instagram too.
Mm-hmm. But Instagram gets reported more often.
Oh.
Whereas Twitter is less likely to get reported because of the way that they crop. Because it crops the photos in such a way that it doesn't necessarily show all the interesting bits right off the bat, like Instagram.
Okay.
So, and it does have a lot more follow. Like a lot of people don't like Instagram. They don't understand Instagram. Instagram is also you can only post from your phone, whereas Twitter you can post from your phone or your computer.
Yeah, Instagram with the phone is a pain because I don't always want to be on my phone. Sometimes I want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Twitter's too stressful.
It
In
is.
general. It's a stressful platform. It's very rarely funny. And if it is funny, or if there's good elements to it, there's always someone bitching about it in the background, and you can't hide them without blocking them. It's just a stressful platform. I don't like it really.
I've only.
account.
Well, go ahead.
Because I have an account, but I haven't. I tried to shut it down, and it won't shut down. I haven't touched it in years. I hate it.
I went like 7 years without opening the app, and then I started using it just recently because there's a couple of artists who only post on Twitter. And Tumblr, I got one off Tumblr at some point. So I couldn't get my fan art from there anymore. So I just started getting Twitter. But yes, it can work if you have the ability to. Because I think it's easier to have a happy accident in terms of reach via Twitter than Instagram or Tumblr or anything. I don't think those will get you the reach on a good day that Twitter would. Yeah, same.
And I don't know if I necessarily understand the appeal of just like parroting someone else's like phrases, short phrases, like, oh yeah, I like that phrase, I'm gonna repeat it. But I can see that if you're doing it for fan art, I think I would like that. If like all I followed were fan art and I was getting new beautiful content every day in my stream or whatever it's called, then I'd like that Twitter a lot more.
Yeah.
But just like looking through, it's like, oh my God, had lunch at this place. Their baguettes were shit. And it's like, man, who cares? Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's a platform meant for fast information, not necessarily meaningful information. I actually, honestly, I used it most to keep up with, I got back on it to keep up with the Black Lives Matter protests because people could just easily start updating, and I found stuff out that way. So I see the appeal for it, and but so many people don't understand how to use it and make it a bad thing. So with any platform, you got to curate your experience to what you want and not just let the platform do it itself, because that's how you hate it and have bad interactions. I will say I hate Goodreads. I think that is such an outdated platform. It's a good idea, but it is buggy as heck, and I never grasped the user face.
Oh, see, that's similar to what I started with, the message board format. So that part I loved. It was the just cesspool part that I wasn't a big fan of. And not everybody was, but there was enough toxicity, I said it right, that they drove me off. But no, I like the platform itself. Like, that's my preferred. I'm older than all of you, so I can do that.
I love message boards, but like something about because when I first started on Goodreads, something about it was just, maybe it was buggy on my end. I don't know, but it didn't seem like a normal. Is this for me? Thank you, Nutella stick. It didn't seem like it was a regular message board. They tried to make it too fancy, and they ended up making it stupid to me. But I have started to really love Discord. I think Discord is like a super good social media, and I don't think it's necessarily a social media. I don't know what to describe it, but I love Discord.
I would call it a messaging
Yeah,
more than like it's a messenger more than anything else.
yeah. And it kind of combines, AIM and all that stuff with message boards, but it's also fluent enough, like not fluent, but like easily updatable, like and stuff. I think she did have she started. Zoom is just now loading on my big computer. Oh my
I
god.
like the never.
Oh my
Perfect
god.
audio.
I'm on here twice now.
I remember hearing about Karen's message boards and that it just got to the same negativity she gets everywhere, and so she deleted them, which I heard there was a bunch of really cool like behind the scenes characterizations on there, and I'm sad that all of that is gone.
I remember discovering them and I was like, man, this is really cool. I think that was my first message board experience on that website too. It's the only thing I even cared really enough to see what other people thought. Even if I didn't agree with them, I was like, this is pretty cool. I want to read about it more.
Oh, okay. Nothing to I'm gonna gossip for a sec. I was looking on her Facebook page, and she won't announce the date of the next Cassie book because people got mad at her because she was late at work. Like, okay.
I would. Yes, she can't win for losing. Like
She's not alone. Authors get it all the time.
Really? Okay.
All the time. One of my favourite authors has been, she was supposed to have released a book in September, and she was involved in the fires, so was evacuated during the fires. She's like, I'm not making my September deadline, by the way. It's going to be October. And people were bitching.
Who is that?
It's C.M. Stunick. She's a romance, reverse harem author. Yeah. She only released the last book 2 months ago.
Oh.
And people are clamoring. They want the next book now. It's like, God, it's 2 months.
So to tie that into the panel,
Everyone.
because I can think about that all day, but to tie that into the panel, how you engage with fandom creators. Let's talk about that, because some people on Discord have been talking about that, and it drives me crazy because, okay, one of my friends, she is an artist, and she was doing Swordtember, so basically drawing a sword a day for September, and ended up making them tarot cards and all this stuff. It was really cool. Yeah, and it was Aziraphale and Crowley, so it was really cool. But she also ended up doing like just throwing out a random sketch she had for an idea she'd been thinking about, where Aziraphale was a werewolf. It was a really cool sketch, and it was simple. And then someone said, "Oh, is this Monster Omens?" which is another artist's creation comic. And so they were like, "Monster Omens? Oh, are you ripping the idea off Monster Omens?" Like, these people deserve your respect. They are doing this shit for free. And other people, when you review a fanfic and they're like, "Wow, have you abandoned the story?" Nothing drives these creators to stop creating faster than comments like that. Like,
yeah,
it's so bad.
If I don't like a story, and there's some I've abandoned, I simply walk away and say nothing. If I'm just like, I might give them a kudos just to be nice, but I'll walk away. I will never, unless somebody asks me for that sort of critique, I never say anything negative about them, because they're doing this for free and they've put so much into it that I couldn't do it better. Except for that one story, which I said I could do better, but I only told you. I didn't tell anyone else.
Yeah, like, I understand. It's still a creation. You're going to sometimes want to bitch about anything. Like sometimes the story just is bad. Like it was badly handled, or it was badly written, or the formatted badly. You don't tell the creator that. And part of that came because I remember, Nat, you might know, fanfiction.net. A lot of people were viewed as though you were a published author looking for feedback.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Rather than just you sharing. That's how I came into the fandom, with people commenting crap like that. And I didn't know any better. I was in middle school. I was in 7th grade when I posted my first fic. I didn't know any better. And now you get people who are posting for free and posting for fun. Like they're not even if they are doing this as practice writing, they're still posting for fun. So the attitude now is you don't offer critique in a review. You just don't. And also, I didn't have beta readers when I started. Like, beta readers is one of the biggest things now. You find someone to look your story over before you post. So there's no need for critique at all. And there was another comment. Another friend was talking about her story. And the person in the comment straight up said, man, I was hoping the other person would be kidnapped. Like, how are you gonna sit here? And they're like, oh, well, maybe next time. And that, like, how do you sit here and have the audacity to make these kind of comments? Like,
I've had it on several of mine. My first one on fanfiction.net, I didn't realise that the formatting you put in didn't actually transfer to the, so it just was a block of text. And within 5 seconds of it going up, someone was like, this reads like a block of text, what have you done? And I'm like, I'm really sorry. But I didn't even realise that it didn't actually upload my own formatting. I had no idea. I just saw this website and thought I'll copy and paste. Surely it'll take all my formatting with it. Nope. But that was a minor thing. But yeah, I've had one or two where that one about Louis Cesar and his trashy novels, and I haven't written another short since. And it probably isn't that. There's a lot of other things, but it didn't help. I was really not bad by that. It was like I wrote it in an hour and put it up because I know if I don't write it quick, it doesn't go up.
yeah.
Oh, that girl
So-
was nasty about it.
I forget
what she was trying to be. She was just trying to be a know-it-all, and it was just not necessary.
I don't remember this. I remember someone saying something, but I don't remember the comment.
It was because I listed a handful of novels that someone like Louis Cesar would have had access to in the 17th century. It was like, why haven't you written more French authors? Like, because I literally was sat at work on my lunch hour. It's like, they would never have studied English literature. He might have done, his dad was English. Like, and also it's fiction, so does it really matter?
I hate people. I really do.
Yeah, so it's really demoralizing. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, it just and oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm enraged on your behalf again. Like,
I got on there and told the chick off, and then she got mad at me over it. I'm like, nope. Oh, whoops.
He really doesn't mind. It's like, I do mind. Obviously, I mind. I've come back to you 3 times on it. Like, I clearly mind.
luckily,
Love your mug. So cute. I should have brought mine. Oh.
Last year's.
I need to buy my own mug.
I switch between my 2 mugs every day. I use them every day. I love them.
hmm,
They're really good mugs. Buy the mugs.
yeah, they really are. But
Mine are on their way. They'll arrive in a month, probably.
I still get I posted this fic on fanfiction.net like 2003. As of last year, I still randomly get flamed reviews for it
What?
because the people hate this character so much.
If you read the character, don't read it.
And like, fanfiction.net isn't even that easy to search anymore unless you know like who was writing it. Like I wrote it 17 years ago. How the hell are you gonna search back all those to find it? Like you had to really either you found it through someone who had it as a favorite, or you found it randomly. Either way, go do something better with your time. Like
They're not
Occasionally,
changing it 17 years later, dude.
and another thing. What were you gonna say, Ren?
oh, just occasionally I'll start at the last page of the search results, which takes you to the very first stories ever written. Sometimes those are the best. They're still just like they capture a different era of the fandom and they're just better to read. So maybe that's what they were doing, that they're finding your fic.
Maybe, but like I'm gonna have to go back and see, like, because I didn't even start writing for this fandom until it was like a year or two into the fandom. So like I don't even imagine my fic to be like the first one.
No, but it's probably
Yeah.
early days. It takes people a while to
Mm-hmm.
get there.
Yeah. But no, that's what I did with Good Omens. I started reading from the back and I got almost all the way through before I had to stop for my health. So I found a lot of good fics there. And one thing I used to do on fanfiction.net, that's what I loved about ff.net is you had the ability to favorite an author as well as a story. And so I would just go in and I would find an author that I liked and just read all of their stories and then go to their and just keep going. And I found so many.
AO3 has that too.
AO3 has you can bookmark stories.
You can bookmark people. No, I've bookmarked people.
I've only subscribed to people.
Okay, I guess I don't see the difference.
A bookmark is like, you know, your bookmarks on AO3.
Yeah.
On fanfiction.net, you have favorite stories, and then if an author has a bunch of stories you like, you can favorite that author.
Okay.
So you can go straight to their page and read all their stuff.
I kind of took those as like the same thing because that's how I treat the subscribe button. Because then I just go through and like, oh, this person's good. Let's see what else they've done.
Yeah, I subscribe to a lot of people. That doesn't mean I want to find them straight away. Like sometimes they just have one really good story, so I've subscribed to them. But yeah, because
Sorry.
no, go ahead.
For like Sneaky Pete and Younger, they're really unpopular fandoms, but I noticed they didn't have any on fan fiction, and so I wrote stories just to be the first one. I know that's like the worst reason to write something,
It's not. Be
like,
the change you want to see.
but now there are multiple stories, so I'm happy.
That's awesome. I love like that. I love that trend-setting feeling, like when you're the first one in a fandom.
And you have to like email them and be like, hey, I need this category and I need these characters, and that's always a great feeling.
I have a couple of tags that I'm trying to spread the word on in Good Omens, and then with the Halloween thing I'm writing, I think this might be, I haven't searched, I need to go look, but this might be the first ship of the kind in Good Omens. So I'm excited.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. And I haven't searched, I want to say I was in the first 5 people to ever post about Karen Chance on Tumblr. Like, because I was way back like 2011, I was trying to get the like when I first joined, I was searching it in like 2012 or whatever. And there was not a fandom.
I want to say that's about the time I started looking for the Facebook page. Like I looked on Facebook because I didn't know of any other platforms really. I don't know, in a weird place. But I was trying to on the Star Wars message board. I think I was trying to get people to talk about her there because we had like a book forum. But no, nothing. You gotta find the right crowd for it, and people. A lot of people aren't drawn in by book one, so you got to get them to book two because that's where the action really just takes off in the direction that it continues. So that one's always kind of tough.
I also feel like people now, she has so many books that it's become intimidating for people to start, even though the chronologically. I almost feel like that, like
I get that.
Oh, I'm like,
I wouldn't have.
lots of books.
right? But like
It's not that there's a lot of them, it's that they're not finished yet and there's a lot of them. You know what I mean? So I mean, if there had been this many and I just stumbled on it, I'd be like, but it helps knowing that she's planning on 15. That's kind of like, I'm not going to give them up now, obviously, now that I'm addicted.
yeah.
There's a lot of people who won't start a series unless it's finished, just because they're worried it won't ever be finished.
Is that why?
And they don't want to invest. Yeah. Yeah, the fear of it not being finished, because there's quite a lot of unfinished series out there where authors just give up, they don't sell, or they move on to something else. So it bothers a lot of people. Also, if you read a lot, remembering it when the next one comes out can be an absolute pain. I know that from experience. Which book is this again? Who are these people? Do I have to reread it?
I'm the wiki. Well, it's me in comic books. I can't read a comic series until at least like the storyline is done. Because from month to month, I can't remember what the hell happened. It was 3 months ago that issue 1 came out. Now, I have to. I would buy them, and then just read them at once.
Yeah.
I like the bound editions of comics a lot. I hate getting the individual issues. I feel like I wreck them so fast and they're a pain to store. So I like the bound editions, even if they're not, I don't know, collectors or something.
I same way. I'd read those too fast though. I have to read those in an hour. $15 for an hour.
I only buy, I think, ones that are Rogue centric or ones that are Buffy centric. If they're not, I just check them out at the library.
That's fair. I have a Marvel subscription, so all of the Marvel comics or anything Marvel puts out 6 months after the fact, I can read unlimited. So the stuff I can read now, it's came out in April, and then next month I'll be able to read stuff that came out in May, etc. But
That's
all
really
of them up until that point are available.
It's like an online subscription?
Marvel Now, I think. And I read them on my tablet. So I'll go through and wait till a series is out and then just sit down and binge them and keep going. I love it. It's $10 a month. And
It's not bad.
I can read a lot of comics.
They have a lot of series out there too. So
You can read stuff from like the 60s and the 70s and the 90s. It's so much there.
I got a few of those jumbo X-Men ones that are just soft cover and they're really big, but I hate them because they're all black and white because they made them so big. They made them like little phone books, so they're all black and white. So I'm like, I like the story, but it's not as fun.
Check out Marvel Now. You'd like that.
But I would.
Here, what? Are you being a pest? You're cute. Oh, Marvel Unlimited, excuse me. Marvel Now was a different one. He's listening to me in the other room.
Good to know. This chat now needs to become PG-13. I think we did good keeping it non.
Yeah, not bad.
Yes.
Get more people to write Cassie fanfic. I'm not a writer, but I want to read more things.
I need to get back into it.
Me too.
I have
Yes,
ideas.
you
They
do.
don't go on paper. But yeah, I have to make the effort, force myself to sit down and write something.
I would like.
November's coming up, so I could make it part of the
Yeah.
writers.
Yeah, no.
That one. So I could make that my challenge for the month. get back into it.
Yeah.
I don't think I posted this year at all
No,
on anything.
It's been a year.
no, anything. I can't remember the last one that I sent out. It was possibly even 2 years ago. It might be coming up to 2 years.
Mm.
And Brianna, I know I've seen you post a bunch of them. Crowley and Aziraphale. I know you're
Posted
still
to
at it.
you? Yeah, I've been writing a lot of my stuff is somehow I've ended up in like 5 zines throughout the year. So like
Wow.
some of the stuff is I can't post yet. Like I just on October 1st was able to post something I wrote way months ago. So that was an interesting thing. That was my first real foray into smut. And it was, I'm going to type the name of the zine. It was a charity zine. So all proceeds went to charity. I'm typing on my damn computer instead of the laptop.
I don't think I could write smut. Read it, sure, I could not write it.
Oh, I want to do some Cassie Ryan Smith so badly. Where? I don't want anyone to know I wrote it. I'm just like, ugh.
If that tells you what I wrote for that.
I think I remember.
What?
What fandom was it? Was it Good Omens?
Good Omens. It was also
Yeah. Oh, it's well. Yeah, you might have to read that. It's my wheelhouse.
The
Okay.
Good Omens stuff. I'm just like, nope. Oh, that one's there. Nope. I have to know about a lot of those.
because of this reason or just
Yeah, just because monsters aren't really my bag, or
that's
or
valid.
critters.
There's no shame in here.
Just had to look up that last word. I wasn't sure what that meant.
I think I
Understand
know.
it now.
I'm assuming some things. I think I get it.
Are you done with your
I
It's
food?
like
assume
the
it
Little
was
Mermaid.
Crowley.
It's like the Little Mermaid, but snake.
Yeah, I assume Crowley, or was it both of them were snakes?
It was Crowley. And
Okay.
it was
Crowley, sorry.
yeah. It was let's see. I almost started typing on I'm not done with my Zoom meeting yet. Say hi, y'all.